Hi, everybody. Welcome to day number 4 of how to make money with email. I always have to remind you where you are and why you're here. We were just discussing briefly before we got started about some successes and what people are going through right now. And so we're still in the process, many of you, of launching your quick start guides. That's totally fine, and this is going to be an ongoing process. Get it out there so that you can start getting your first additional 2, 3, 4, 5 subscribers, and then that'll turn into 10 and 15 and so on. I love the fact that some of you are taking what we talked about yesterday for things like save this recipe or save this article or print pass and adding on additional experience to that in the form of extending uh, the onboarding, if you will, with some additional emails that you send as a result. That's using email automation. Hopefully, some of you built out a calendar. Anybody get in the calendar and start planning out your next 3 to 6 months of emails? I hope somebody did. Get
I
in
made a
that,
little calendar.
made a calendar. Okay,
Yeah, like a
awesome.
spreadsheet. Yeah.
Great. I'd love to hear it. You guys are, once you, it's all about, for me, it's all about that system because you get the system rolling, you keep it updated, and you're going to have much more consistent success. Some of you are already building out other quick start guides. Jan's got a summer sequence coming up. Great. Love it. Um, all right. So a couple of quick things. Let's talk about, before I get into too much, I want to share with you why your quick start guide, now that you're launching, might not be converting. And the offer is open to anybody who wants me to see their pop-ups or their forms, and I can give you some feedback on how that's going. The reasons that things might not be going as swimmingly as Matt spelled it out to be, it made it seem like it was going to go, is that first of all, is anybody finding it? Does anybody see the form? How are they discovering that you have this lead magnet? That sounds basic, but quite often tech will fail us. So is your pop-up showing? Is it showing at the time that you want it to show? Um, what does the message say? How are do the words that you're using grab you? Grab the potential subscriber. We only have that much time, blink of an eye, really, to capture their attention and hope that they will jump onto our list. Does the design distract? Does it stand out? Does it look like an ad? If it's any of those things, that might cause us to not perform so well. And also, perhaps it doesn't actually solve the problem, a problem. I may have shared this example, so I'll say it again quickly. I had a blogger that ranked very high for pie. And I thought for sure that this was in the early days. I thought for sure if we launched 5 secrets to baking the perfect pie, that was going to nail it because so much search traffic was coming in on all sorts of different types of pies. Well, nobody signed up for that thing. It was very underwhelming. And I couldn't figure out why until I sat back and thought about it for a second. How often does the average individual who might even be searching for pie going to make pie in their year? Once or twice for a special occasion, maybe. And so they don't necessarily need the secrets to the perfect pie. They need the one pie and get it done so they can take it to Thanksgiving or the summer cookout or whatever. So what would work? Well, the person who is going to bake a pie has a choice. They could go to Costco here in the United States or wherever, a bakery, and just pick up a pie. People do sell pies. And they've chose not to. Instead, they're spending hours of their life risking their reputation and their patience to bake this pie. Why? Why are they doing that? Because they enjoy the process. They enjoy the accolades and the rave reviews when people says, "You made this?" So when we switched from 5 secrets to baking for the perfect pie to something that was more about baking projects, things to bake this weekend or whatever, I don't remember what it was, but that started to get subscribers. We weren't solving a real problem with the baking the perfect pie. All right, so that's just a couple of thoughts there. Oh, we've got some volunteers here. This is great. All right, I'm going to open up a few of them here. Open up that one, I'll open up that one, and I'll open up this one. All right. So Jessica, I assume this is going to pop up somewhere here.
Yes, 20 seconds I put it.
Okay, So 20 seconds is 20 seconds is good. You'll get more if you go to 15, and you'll get more than that if you go to 10. Um, all right, let me just dissect this here for a second. Five secrets of traditional Italian cooking. Okay, Jessica, what you have here is great, and anything I'm saying is just going to be, as you know, me try to
Yes.
nitpick. All right, so
Yeah.
um, my first couple of things. I'm just going to go with reactions. First, get rid of that built with kit thing. That serves no purpose other than to,
I know, but I can't because I'm on the newsletter plan, so I
oh,
cannot take
okay.
it out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. There's something going on here with our code where we need this to be
Oh,
black so people can see this or
oh, good catch. I didn't notice.
yes, I want to know is good. I like that better than say subscribe. You might also, I don't think it's going to matter much, but you might also experiment with yes, I want this or get it or something like that. That's just super simple. My concerns are really about the design right here. So five secrets of traditional Italian cooking. While this is pretty, it's hard to read. I'm not getting this instantly. So you'd be better suited to have this, I believe, to have this image be something very Italian. I don't know, lasagna or something that is just like just oozing with tomato sauce and looks Italian, whatever Italian means to you. That really sells that. Okay. This, I don't think that this text is helping you much here when we have the opportunity to do it over here.
Okay.
Words like get the top five secrets to perfect your Italian dishes. You've just extended, they made that much, much wordier than it needs to be. And now my brain I have to read this and read this, which makes it less likely that I read any of it. If this is super short, five secrets to perfect Italian cooking, or whatever you're going to say. Five secrets of traditional Italian cooking. I think you'd be better suited to just pick one, go more concise, leave that. What I might do is I might do something here that says in the smaller kind of description format, I might say something like free email bonus. So people know that this is free or a free email series. So they get just a real quick sense of what it's going to be.
Okay.
So those are a couple of thoughts that I have for you there.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
And I do like you used my code, it looks like,
Yeah. Yeah.
to get a version that, see that everybody? It goes from, it just condenses it down to on mobile, so it's a easier thing. And see what we're losing here. This is going to be a problem because we're losing that
It
with that
should go
code.
away wherever you click on the screen.
It will, but when you get that X there, because people don't know.
Okay. Okay.
When you
Yeah.
fix the color on that X, that'll be better.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
All right, excellent. Good work. You're off and running. Those are just a couple of things that maybe might help a little bit. All right, we'll go into uncharted territory here with Jan. Give five secrets to more flavor. All right. Jan, is this kit?
No, it's not.
Okay, what is it?
It is Flowdesk.
Okay, so we're gonna want to check with Flowdesk or go mess around in Flowdesk. We got to get this color to pop here. All right, same thing with the
Gotcha.
X. People need to know where their X's are at all times, I say. Okay, that was stupid. Your X right here is, you're going to want to make that just so it's obvious. People can get out of it real
Okay.
easily. But I do like these other elements, the fact that you have, made that. It's blending in a lot, like when I first opened this up. So the contrasty or lack of contrast between this and that makes my eyes not quite get it, what's going on here.
Okay.
Um, the title, I like this, by the way. I'm not bagging on this at all. Get five secrets to get more flavor. the way that you put that is fine. I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, can I jazz this up?
Mm-hmm.
5 secrets to get more flavor. What you're saying is you're going to make your food taste better, right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
So get cozy with ChatGPT for a little bit and riff on that concept. The length
Okay.
is great. I have this. I okay. So sorry. I work with a lot of food creators. Many, they're all my clients, and so I have this running joke about bursting with country fresh flavor. I don't know. Anybody watch Seinfeld? There's there's this one Seinfeld scene where Jerry and Elaine are at dinner and it's really awkward and they're eating and Jerry turns to Elaine and he says, "These peas are bursting with country fresh flavor." And to me, it's just mocking the whole words of flavor and I can't get over it. So anytime I see it, sorry, that's where I go. Um, the so what are we really saying here is I guess what I'm getting at. Taste, make any dish taste better. Here's how. 5 secrets to make any dinner taste better. Something like that.
Okay.
Um, I also believe you will do better when you switch to a different topic. So this is a great place to start. When you get into summer recipes to make, my signature recipes or something like that, that's probably more of what your audience, I'm guessing, but that's probably more of what your audience is looking for than tips on how to make stuff taste better, because that's ambiguous. That's general. Nobody has told them your food doesn't taste good. Well, maybe they have. If they have, they might need therapy. But uh, mom issues aside, you might have more of often they're just looking for what to make for dinner. So anyway, just a thought.
Okay.
But I think just a couple of things there, like try a different color scheme and maybe go to a white background here. And if you can put a border around, I don't know. I don't know what Flowdesk allows you to do, but mess with it a little bit. But
Okay.
good start. And then we've got the glue and the glitter together mixed in to the popsicles. Let's see. Whose is this? Becky? All right. When will I see and where will I see the lead magnet? Don't have a pop-up. Okay, so what am I looking at? So this goes back to right
I
here.
know.
Okay, so
So it's like if you scroll up to the top, there's
okay,
yep. Yeah, there she is.
okay. Um, by the way, folks, this is for everybody. This is not just aimed at Becky, that everybody can benefit from this. A little trick I learned is that you can use in most of these. You're using MailerLite, Becky, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, I think you can do this in MailerLite, and I'm pretty sure you can do. I know you can do it in Kit, and I think you can do it in Flowdesk too. Is that this image can be an animated GIF? So if you want to be a rotating one, like for example, let's go back to Jessica. Jessica may want to show a tomato-based recipe for Italian. She may want to show one that's ultra cheesy, or she may want to show one that is those cool Italian cookies. I don't know, but she may want to rotate through them to show the different types of things that might be in that. And you can do that by going to easygif.com/maker. I'll drop this into the chat. And you're going to jot this down, hear me on this. If you're going to do this, they all need to be the same size. So it's going to ask you if you want to resize. Don't do more than 3 images. No more than 3 images. And you want the timing to be about, when it asks you for the timing, the thing to enter is 3:33. At basically 3 seconds. Okay? I'm not going to explain it more than this. You're going to have to go figure this out. This is kind of outside of what we're talking about here. But animated GIF maker, just go through the process. You're basically dragging and dropping images that will become an animated GIF here. All right? You don't want to be too big. File size matters here, folks. Under 500K should be your output. Ideally, smaller than that. That means you might have to compress it. All right, I've said too much about that already. But anyway, All right, Becky, the best vegan recipes for summer. First of all, I don't love the word subscribe. It's not that I'm trying to trick people. It's just that that word, what do you think about? You start thinking about Sports Illustrated, you know, or your Wall Street Journal, or I don't know. I don't, I don't want to subscribe. That feels like a commitment. I want to get your guide. And I think that's missing here a little bit too. If you had like just a free email bonus or free email series, this might say 5-day guide to kickstart your summer. Plant-based deliciousness is somewhat implied. Make sense?
Totally. This is a big help.
Oh, good. Just going for moderately helpful. So for the big help, then we're really rocking. But yeah, let's think about other ways that you can get that in front of people. If you're uncomfortable with the pop-ups, I understand, but start looking at some of those other options to get it in front of folks. The free guide to best, it's right here too. Sign up. If it's a guide, am I signing up for something? I'm nitpicking, folks. And I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. I can't, changing what this button says is not going to change everything. But get it free. Download it now. Yes, I want this. Or just go. All of those are just a little bit less of a commitment than sign up, which is less of a commitment than subscribe. Nuance. Great stuff. Okay. Oh, Emily wants in on it. Oh, Jamie does too. Okay. We'll go through this. We can do it.
For mine, I haven't updated to what I wrote out yet after the first days of homework, but I am getting like anywhere from 20 to 40 new subscribers a day. But the problem that is with using Grow that I'm learning is that you cannot tell, there should be a pop-up, but I think you have to click into the post to get to the pop-up.
Oh, sure. Okay.
The problem with using Grow is that I have no idea which forms people are signing up through. You know what I mean?
Right. Are you using Kit?
I have Kit as well. Yes.
But so I think in Grow you can attach it on the backside. So like as if you were going to create. So in Kit you make a form. You call the form Best Sourdough Recipes Grow. Then in Grow, you then attach this to that form, meaning that when they come through this, they get funneled through Kit's form called.
The problem is this for some reason, and there's no support with Grow, so I haven't been able to figure out this why, but there's a major lag between, like I have to manually import all my subscribers from Grow over to Kit. And there's like no support for Grow, so I just keep manually inputting them over and over again. So I probably need to totally switch to something different because I don't really have that much faith that Grow is like it's just like, I guess basic, but it does seem to be working to capture people.
Well, if you've got Kit and you use WordPress, you can just follow my steps and it's free. It's not going to cost you anything more.
Yeah.
You can just use that and you'll have a better looking pop-up and more flexibility, and it will actually be imported directly.
Okay, that sounds good.
So this pop-up is less about a quick start guide. This is more about sign up for my newsletter.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch it to the quick start guide. I have it set up, but I was just kind of curious. I guess I just wanted to talk to you about Kit versus Grow. That's why I put mine in there.
Gotcha. All right. Every day, Emily. Okay. Emily,
Yes.
how you feeling?
Well, I already kind of jotted a few things just from what I caught in the last few minutes. That was maybe because I was thinking my like title, maybe it's not clear what I'm sending.
Yeah. I don't
So
know
I was thinking,
I don't know what problem you're solving for me here.
yeah, okay.
There's no indication about summer or 5 days of anything. It's just that 7,000 plus readers can't be wrong. This
I was-
is good social proof. I like social proof. That might be more impactful in the description.
Okay. So I'm doing like summer recipes, and you just had kind of mentioned summer or signature, and so I was thinking about playing around with that
Cool.
because they're kind of all sorts of recipes.
I think that
But
almost
generally
any
summer.
headline is going to do better than this. That's
Okay.
as plain as I can say it.
Yep, that's helpful.
This font, it's not about the size, it's about how hard it is to read. And there's too
Okay.
much writing here.
Okay.
I want about this much writing. And I
Okay.
want that font in black if I can. We can get rid of the built with Kit and send me the reader favors is good. But I might just say something like, yes, send it to me, or yes, I want
Okay.
this. That is a delicious looking cobbler with the mayonnaise on top, just looks fantastic there. And I think that is going to resonate there when you tie it to summer.
Okay.
All right. No further questions, Your Honor. Oh, this
Okay.
black, this, we need contrast here. I can't see this.
Okay.
Yeah, the built with
and
Kit
I'm
thing is a
assuming the
major
built-
distraction. You don't need this at all. This does you no good at all.
Yeah, I don't want to include that. I guess I didn't see an easy spot to not include it.
If you're on the
But
free plan,
I'll-
then yeah, that's part. It's
No.
it's the price that you pay for the free plan for anybody who's on that. But yeah, there's just a little checkbox. You'll find it in there.
Okay. Okay.
Excellent, folks. Good work. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Do you see, man? It's not just throw it out there and then people sign up. Let me give you a couple other tips. I wasn't going to go here, but I think it's relevant to what we're talking about. Maybe this helps one of you think about these things a little bit differently. Okay? This is a little hack. Now, obviously, things have changed since I first made this presentation. AI is much more prevalent. You can use Claude or Gemini or ChatGPT for a lot of ideas, but this is tried and true. Just go to images.google.com and type in Italian cooking food cover. Nope, not what I meant to do. Italian magazine cover. Sorry, that's what I'm going to say. And look at this. If you're Jessica and you want ways to think about, you just open this up and start looking. All right, packed with flavor. Packed with flavor. Bellissimo. How to master homemade pasta. Okay, that's interesting. Let's roast. You can't really see that one very well, so we'll skip it. Family favorites, recipes from Nona's. That's not bad. Cooking the classics. How to bake sourdough ciabatta. Sometimes it's just straight up 101 delicious Italian recipes. That one seems to be same. 5 mix and match sauces. Warming winter weather. So the idea here is that there's something for every topic. These people get paid to write. There's somebody that is before AI was getting paid to come up with headline copy. Back in the day, this is how you sold magazines, is what did it show on the cover and what did it say? So these 5-star Italian, it's not bad. So you start to plug in yours, you might get an idea or two from that. Second, if you need more ideas, go to mild.com. And this is more of a search engine for e-commerce emails, but there's still really good stuff in here. If you just, like let's say that you're in lifestyle, maybe you want to see what Martha Stewart has. So you can click on here and see what are some of her headlines. 9 summer menus to inspire your next dinner party. It's right there. That's not bad. I don't know if that's you, but, and then you just go through these. What ideas do you have? And then when you click into it, by the way, there's a lot more. 9 key items. Your hosting checklist is probably missing. Da, 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 da. All right. Perfect party. So combination of those might give you some inspiration. BuzzFeed is another example. I don't need to teach you about BuzzFeed. Go check it out. And then my favorite way is sign up for other people that inspire you. Create an email address that you can just filter into another folder. your inspiration folder. So if I have mmullen@gmail.com, I don't, maybe you knew this, maybe you didn't. If you put plus anything after it, it treats it as a different email address with the person you're signing up for. Then you can filter those mmullen plus research@gmail.com. Anything that is sent to that still comes to mmullen@gmail. It just goes into a special folder. Make sense? So then you can just go through, oh, I like that. I like that. That inspires me. I read through other people's subject lines. Okay, great stuff. I'm going to move on, but we're going to talk now about making the money. All right. I did a presentation with Tastemaker, and because we have so many people that are into food right now, I think it's appropriate for me to just pull out some of these slides because, and maybe you even heard me give this presentation, one or two of you. But I want to go through a couple of the things that I shared there. There's lots of different ways to make money with email. Let me back up for a second. Forget about the slide. High level. You can't make money unless you have a list. You can't make money with that list unless you are sending them stuff regularly that they want to get, that they open and click. Okay? So this is why we started with all the other stuff. Everything after this assumes that you are nurturing, engaging, sending, and serving. You with me? The faster the list grows, the more leverage you have when you do those same activities. Did you know that if somebody has 500,000 page views or they have 5 million page views a month, I do the same work for them? My strategies, my tactics don't change. If you have 50,000 page views a month or 5,000 page views a month, guess what? My strategies and tactics don't really change. It's just you have a bigger lever to pull. So when you if you have 5 million page views a month, you get a lot more out of putting that pop-up up than the person does who has 500,000 page views. But you've earned it and you've got to that point. Congratulations. My whole point here is to just tell you that the systems for making money in email are tried and true and basic, and none of them are get rich quick overnight. We're going to start here with a little reminder. Did you initially make money right out of the gate when you started this blogging journey? Of course not. You had to figure out how your blog spot worked, or what's WordPress anyway, and how do we set this up, doggone it. You learned about SEO, you learned about photography, you learned about all the things. And you've done the same thing with your social media, with your Pinterest, with your content creation. You've created systems and you have executed those systems over and over and over again. And you've learned as you've gone. So we are going to crawl before we walk and walk before we run. And that is also true with making money with email if you've never done any of these things before. So virtually none of the tips that I will tell you today and tomorrow will be things that you can go out and go immediately, boom, there's $5,000. There are some, but not very many. What we're talking about now, and for the rest of our sessions together, are the types of things that people who have built their email lists are doing to monetize that list, and that they are learning and they're committing to. There are, however, a few low-hanging fruit opportunities for you. The challenge is that there's not that many, the easy ones, but we'll start with those. Easy way, number one, to make more money with email is, first of all, understand what Raptive and Mediavine, yes, I'm mentioning Mediavine here, what they're doing in email, because they are investing heavily. Now, when I originally wrote this, there was the fear that Google cookies were going to go away forever. I still believe they are going away. They've already started to go away. It's not as overt and obvious. And there's lots of reasons that they're going to do that. However, that's not the point of this conversation. But what it did point out is the importance of first-party data. Now, an email address is considered first-party data, as you know, meaning I know about you directly. You give me an email address, it tells me who you are directly. That identifies you. A cookie is third-party data. It's being passed around. It's inferred by behavior around other places on the internet. With Mediavine and Raptive, over the last several years, they have invested heavily in these platforms, specifically so leveraging first-party data. They built, Mediavine built Grow, as you know, with lots of email-based tools, all built around using Grow as their login. Raptive is all about this thing called newsletter identity. In fact, I should probably have pulled this up earlier. If you do not, here, let me sign into this. If you do not know what I'm talking about, you must learn this. You must. This is free money, friends. All right. I'm going to mention it quickly here, but the gist of this is that in short, these companies are investing real money. Why? When advertisers have your email address, they can understand you better. The demographics are right in front of them because we use our email address for everything. I bought some pants online yesterday. I used my email address. So now, if anybody happens to know the history and that history is shared, they happen to know that I am a man who likes pants, which can be very valuable to advertisers. Okay? What they do with this is they do something called hashing, and they use private data rooms. Hashing just basically takes mmolin@gmail.com and it turns it into a string of characters. And so if I happen to buy pants online at oldnavy.com, this data room that shares this information, it doesn't bear Matt Molin's soul. It doesn't tell everybody that Matt Molin loves Old Navy pants. It says that the person who has this hashed ID shops at Old Navy, drives a Ford, likes to take trips to Hawaii. Who doesn't? Right? So it knows these things, and that could create the same thing that third-party cookies have done for years, can create more of an advertising picture for us. So they can serve more targeted ads to me. So what Raptive benefits from, and you benefit from, and I benefit from, is that more emails means better targeting. Better targeting means we get paid more. So the way that this works, in short, is that when you send an email to your subscribers, when they click on a link that has been optimized for newsletter ID, it sends that information back to Raptive and says, okay, this one was mmolin@gmail.com, except it's not mmolin@gmail.com. It's this hashed thing, right? And Raptive goes, got it. Guess what? He was over at Ginger Homemaking. That's where he came from, was Ginger Homemaking's email. But I happen to know that he also went to My Everyday Table. And when he goes to My Everyday Table, we can show him more ads there. Now, look at that. Jamie did the hard work. She got Matt Molin on her list, sent an email, and I was tagged. And Emily's over there just reaping the benefits. Why? Because she's in the Raptive network. Do you see how this works? So the more, we're all helping each other actually by having more newsletter subscribers ID'd, because that information gets into the Raptive network. That's what Grow is, in essence, is trying to do at Mediavine as well, except they're doing it a little bit differently. How does that benefit us? Right now, according to James Baldwin, the VP of Engineering at Raptive, ID'd subscribers, ID'd visitors are netting 40% higher RPMs. So if you want to make more money You need to use this newsletter ID thing. How do you do that? Well, if you're on Kit, well, I'll come back to that in a second. If you're not on Kit, what you have to do is you have to come to this article that I shared it in the chat. And if you just Google or just search for newsletter link ID on Raptive's help, you basically come in, and if you're on, let's go to, I know we have some Flowdesk people. And if you're on Flowdesk, you put this code at the end of every email, or excuse me, every link in your emails. Every link in your emails. Now, because if it's not there, they don't get tagged. Raptive doesn't know who they are. Now, I am pretty tight with the folks at Kit, just from a long-term relationship. I've worked with them a long time. When this came out, I got very tired of putting this, copying and pasting this at the end. And I went to the CEO over there and I said, if you've ever listened to me before, you need to listen to me now. And then I connected them with Raptive, and fortunately they listened to each other. And now Raptive and Kit are integrated. All you have to do is click a button, and if you're on Kit, you don't have to do this anymore. It's automatically added to it. Perhaps the biggest thing I've ever done in my career, because everybody's making more money with that. From Kit to Raptive to you and I. And we don't have to lift a finger anymore. So if you've been on the fence about switching to Kit, I guess that's my biggest sales pitch right there. Because you won't have to do that anymore. It was such a hassle. But regardless, if you're on MailChimp, if you're on MailerLite, you got to do it. This is where things like the Forever series, though, and these quick start guides, they help you, right? Because once you have it set up, presto, they're in there. You know that those people are going to be hitting it. But if you use Kit and have Raptive, there is one thing you have to do. You have to go to your settings. Just it's right here. You have to go to your settings. They call it advanced settings, I think, and then make sure that both of these are checked. I'll pause. So if you are looking at it, you can kind of identify what that is. If you don't have it checked, you're leaving money on the table. It's just impossible to remember to do, almost impossible to remember to do it on every single link. So it's really nice. Okay. That is the easy way, number one. Easy way number two, get ready for this one. Send more emails. Oh, is that cheating? Well, actually, it's pretty interesting, and I'll show in a moment here. I'll share an ROI tool with you, which will spell this out. Is that when your costs are fixed, which they typically are, I don't think any of you are using a platform where you pay per subscriber or you pay per send, excuse me. So that means that if you send another email, your incremental cost is nothing. So you could, quote unquote, double your profitability from your emails simply by sending double the emails. And I'm here to tell you, because so many of you are on food, that you can send way more than you think. I already mentioned this, but I have clients that send daily. I'm not saying you should go to that right away if that's not you, and you have to do what feels right. But the thing is that people get hungry a lot. They consume food a lot, and you're giving them recommendations all the time. So you can send more. If you don't believe me, well, you should. Second, I challenge you, I hereby challenge you that next week you send double the emails you were going to send this week, and then report back to me. Let me know how it went. How many is too many? Well, you'll probably, yeah, maybe the open rate will go down a little bit. It's if your unsubscribes really start to spike, but that'll happen at first. That will happen at first. You'll have a little blip with the people who are like, "Wah, you've only been emailing me once every 3 months, and now you're sending me twice a week. This is way too much." Well, they're not your people anyway, because you're investing in email going forward. Goodbye. The new system going forward will bring on all these new subscribers through your Save This Recipe and your quick start guide, and it's going to take off and start to flourish. And those people, they're just going to know that the way of the world is that they get 3 emails a week from you. What's a good open rate? What's a good click rate? 100% is a very good one. So aim for that and you'll be doing great. I say that it's a tough one for me to answer, Donna. General food, 20 to 30% is pretty typical for open rates. Click rates are about 2 to 3%. When you get into dietary concerns, it's higher than that, 30 to 40% with a little bit more clicking, because if you think about it, those people that have a gluten-free situation or they're on a keto diet for whatever, they need it more than the generalists. If you dive into a specific, if you are a specialist in sourdough, you might have a better open rate and click rate because those people are a little bit more invested. My Disney cruise emails, there was 70 to 90% open rates with really high clicks because those people are spending $5,000 to $10,000 on a vacation. They really need it, right? So I wouldn't worry about it too much other than keep getting better. Send more emails. Oh, by the way, the other thing that happens when you send more emails and you make more money, more people get ID'd. And if and when those people come back, Raptive has that information and remembers them. So it's another reason to send more. Because even if they didn't come through email the next time, because they know who they are, they'll make more. You'll make more. Email, easy way number 3. Email more about your money makers. Not all of your posts are created equal, right? From an RPM perspective. So look, I'm not saying force the issue here. All right. If we're in summertime and you've got the heaviest soup in the world, but it's a really high RPM, maybe avoid the temptation of pushing that 40 times this month. However, if you have a chocolate chip cookie that does better than everything else, maybe you bring that in more times than you had been thinking about doing it. Remember what I said about email math? That if we have open rates of 30% and click rates of 2 to 5%, 95% of people never clicked it. It wasn't the right time for them. They weren't hungry. They were traveling. They were on vacation. I don't know. They weren't cooking for the family that week. They weren't in the mood to bake. But when you hit them with it one more time on that next week, that might be the time. So don't be afraid to repeat or to bring back your top money makers. Okay? So here's an example from this particular dashboard. You can see that this had 32,000 views. This one had 11,000 views, but they made almost the same amount because the RPMs of those is so different. You have that too in your dashboard. Easy way number 4, understand your ROI. Okay? I have a tool for you. You can, let me share the link here. So I'm just going to drop this into those are on the chat. You can grab it right now. You don't have to go through that form. When you get it, you're going to come up here to File, Make a Copy. And so you can mess with your own. If you're watching the replay back, I'll leave this on the screen for a second so you can type that in. All right. Here's how this works. Enter in the number of email subscribers you have. How many times are you sending each month? You can see how this starts to change. If I'm sending 10 times a month or I'm sending 20 times a month, yeah. Your profit more than doubles because your costs don't change. All right. This assumes a 1.5 page views per click. You can modify, put your RPM in, whatever you think it is. What's your monthly cost for Flowdesk, MailerLite, MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, Kit, whatever, put it there. And then what's your average click-through rate? Take a stab. Okay? Go look at your past performance and get a sense. And then you'll have a better idea of how much money you're making or not making. That could really add up fast as your email grows. Yes. A lot of people think of email as a cost center. Right now, you may be looking at it as an investment. But think about it. Where's AI going to be? Where is search going to be? Where are the socials going to be next year, 2 years, 5 years from now? You know what you could still have? because email's not going anywhere. 5 years from now, email will still be here. We will be emailing each other in the same, almost the same way that we are now. All right. I've skipped a bunch of questions. The RPM difference. Yeah, I'm sorry, Lauren. Lauren, by the way, you could send more emails to your US-based audience if you wanted to. I'm not saying you should, but there's segmentation within these tools where you can figure out who's in the UK and who's not, and so on and so forth. What's the best way to improve CTR? Well, first of all, start your click-through rate starts at the open rate. So be more interesting, first of all. Get your topics nailed. And then one way to increase click rate is, and I'm not advocating this necessarily, but you can be a little bit more mysterious with a link so that they almost have to click it. This is why you've seen some people do the Chinese dinner number 1, Chinese dinner number 2, Chinese dinner number 3. You know it's about Chinese, but you don't know what it is, and they make you click. Look, I'm not bashing that. I use that. I have one client where that's the strategy that she likes. She's making money with it. We're rolling with it. It tends to be a little frustrating for some people. And so you will get some unsubscribes as a result of people who don't like that. But you can definitely add in a little bit more coy messaging. I'm doing a test right now. Images versus no images. I'm seeing a slight, about 10% increase on the ones that don't have images, where everything else is exactly equal. So you're just gonna have to experiment, but commit yourself to experimenting, all right? And put the better stuff up top. I'm not gonna spend time on how to do that testing. It is like really advanced what I'm doing. So there's no way that anybody on this call could do it, because I have a ton of clients and I have a ton of tech systems built out. With the tools that you have at your disposal, you would not, I mean, you could do it manually. You could create 2 different versions, but then you'd have to learn how to segment your audience and cut it in half, which I have a tool that does it, randomizes it, but I've invested in that tech. So my advice is just stay focused on the system. You're going to do better off by sending more and send better themes. Just be more relevant, and that alone will help your click-through rate go up. What do I think about the younger generations coming up in email? The short version answer is, not to spend a lot of time on it, Jamie, is I don't think it's going anywhere. It hasn't since you and I were kids, basically. I wish I could say I was a kid. But my 30 years of marriage, I've been using email, and most of that I've been using the same Gmail account. And I don't see it changing dramatically. It's the one area that, if you look at how innovation has changed, the pace of change has not been it's mostly the same. You can go into your Gmail account and look back at emails that you sent in 2007. They're in there, right? And we were doing it mostly the same. So do they use email? They do when they get to college and to a job, and when they want to buy the pants from Old Navy. Everybody does. They won't use it the same way as you and I do. But some of the things that have changed perhaps are, promotion tabs and those types of filterings. Maybe we'll see innovations there, but I don't see it going away. Clearing the list. Yes. Pruning your list is a good idea. I think that's the core of the question. You are currently, we look at your ROI, you might be paying for people that aren't opening and clicking, right? So we don't like doing that. First of all, if you are making a dramatic change to your list in any way, meaning you're going to start sending a lot more, that's probably what I mean. Don't prune your list just yet. Let's see if your new frequency, your new content strategy helps them resurrect. But after 3 months of that, I think you have a good sense of who's going to open and click stuff. There's plenty of guidances out there on how to do this. I have one in the Email and Autopilot course that you can review of how to prune your list, especially if you're using Kit. It walks you through step by step. If you're not using Kit, you'll get the idea of the strategy. But I'm typically, even with the biggest lists, I'm pruning on food 2 to 3 times a year. And I'm not overly aggressive about it, meaning my clients may differ, but I have seen people come back with food. Not a ton, but you'll 10 to 15%. And so you could be getting rid of people that might show up again and start consuming stuff at Thanksgiving time, right? So it's just a matter of how cost sensitive you are, how fast you're growing, and a little bit of your strategy that way. But if it's a matter of, and some of my big, you can imagine some of my big food bloggers, when you get up to those levels, the difference of 5,000 subscribers here or there isn't significant to them in their budget. So they'd rather carry them in hope, and especially those that are going to be selling something soon. They want every chance that they can get to. See, that's the other thing this ROI calculator doesn't do. It doesn't factor in affiliate commission, sponsorships, sales of products, and so forth. Anyway, Lauren, simple answer to your question is yes, do it. I think I answered everybody. If I didn't, let me know. What else do we have here? Okay. We have 4 minutes. We'll talk about this real briefly, and then tomorrow we'll dive into the hardcore stuff. There are other ways to make money with email, and you notice they don't say the easy ways anymore. But all of the things that we're going to talk about from here on out, they go down to this right here. What problem do you solve? If you can't answer that question, my dearest friends, it's time for some introspection. You have to know. You have to figure this out if you want to thrive. You can survive otherwise, but if you want to thrive, I've just been in business way too long to know about product market fit. Okay? Everything that we're talking about from here on out involves some sort of transaction. We'll talk about ads. We'll talk about sponsors. We'll talk about sales. We'll talk about affiliate deals. We'll talk about all that stuff. But you see how the exchange of money takes place when problems are solved? If you are just throwing out emails and nobody is actually engaging and you're going through the motions, you get a little bit of traffic from it, you are not going to get rich off of email. I can promise you that. But if you nail this, you can. Yes, you can get rich off of email. There are plenty of people who make their living just off of a newsletter. Not even on all the other things. It comes down to understanding who you serve, and that's where I'm leaning into segments. As far as email goes, segmentation, when I talk about it, we're talking about dividing up your list and growing your list by different types of readers, and then serving those people like the special people that they are. The Disney Cruise people are different from somebody who just wants a Disney coloring page. If they want to print out a Disney coloring page because little grandkid is coming over and they want to do some Bambi coloring, that's different than somebody who's going to spend $5,000 on a Mickey themed boat. So you can answer and educate those people differently and serve them differently. When you do that, the obvious stuff happens. Better open rates. You're narrowing down your solutions. It just narrows your messaging tighter. In their mind, they understand who you are. And then that leads to increased sales. Solve my problems and maybe I'll buy from you. In today's digital marketing world, there's no guarantees. We expect a lot for free. I get frustrated that I have to pay $21.95 for ChatGPT, arguably one of the greatest inventions in all of humankind, all of human history, and I'm irritated that I have to spend $21.95. Okay? It's impossible to sell anything until you've built trust. So, how do you do that functionally? This is really basic, but you build a list of segmented, targeted readers. Do that by creating things like quick start guides per segment. And then you send them awesome stuff by segment. Do that by creating forever series or automations or special broadcasts that are devoted to those people, and then try to monetize. So for you, what are your top segments? I know it's harder in food. but you have them. So I invite you to, as a homework assignment, is to make a list of your top 5 segments. And I'm not talking about somebody who likes chicken versus somebody who likes pork. That's not a real great segment. But the person who has air fryer, if you have a lot of those folks, if somebody is vegetarian, if somebody is a novice baker, if somebody is an advanced baker and wants to know the chemistry behind sourdough baking, these are different types of segments, right? Who do you serve? Now, they may be small. What do you know a lot about? What segments do you want to build out? Because what you can do is if somebody, for example, if you have traffic coming in on your air fryer content, you can create an air fryer quick start guide, put out that pop-up on those category posts or forms on those posts that invite the air. You could go on your social media and say, hey, everybody who has an air fryer, I've got this air fryer quick start guide. Go sign up for it. That's segmentation. Now that they're in, you have choices. Well, you can just lump them in with everybody else, or you could do like I did with the Disney Cruise people and create a separate series of emails that goes out automatically. And maybe it makes sense to have seasonal emails go out for those air fryer people because of this. Better open rates, better solutions, better click rates, better sales. Okay? I'm going to pause here. This concept of segmentation is foundational, though, because when you understand it, you're really narrowing down. Basically, all we're doing is we're understanding what are the pain points of the people that we serve and how do we serve them. And once we nail that, now we can create products and services, ads, whatever, that allow us to make more money. Does that make sense? Or is this concept a little too vague right now? I hope it's making sense. I know that some of you are at the point of, man, I just have a blog. I got to get some new subscribers. I'm just getting going. I understand that. But if you don't plan for it now, even if your air fryer category, since I'm using that example, is only 5% of your page views, you still could create a thriving part of your business that is devoted to air fryer and air fryer awesomeness that could flourish and grow and grow and grow if you focused on it. All right. Okay. We're going to stop there. If you have any questions that I have not yet answered, go ahead and unmute. If you got to get out of here, I hope that you'll have a lovely day of getting the finishing touches on your quick start guide or your changes to your pop-ups or whatever you're going to do there. But go make it happen and do this. Jot down your 5 segments. Think that through a little bit. All right. Okay. All right. We'll see you guys. If you have a question, unmute. Otherwise, off with you. Now it's
So-
just awkward.
If I wanted to test a pop-up, do you have any suggestions for how to test it? Do I just roll it out and then see how my stats change? Or is there anything I should be doing on the back end when I set it up if I know I'm just seeing if I like it or not?
So what is the criteria by which you are basing this test?
I guess if my bounce rate on my site goes up significantly, I would want to stop doing it, that kind of thing.
Okay. Well, first, be clear of that, whatever it is, whatever your metric is. Be clear about what that is. And then second, yeah, what you just said, turn it on, run it for a week, check your stats.
Okay.
There's nothing that you're going to do for a week that's going to hose your site in any sort of permanent way. But if you do it for a day, that's not like if you turned it on right now, you're one of your days is going to be Friday, and Friday is the worst blogging day of them all. Give yourself time. Give it enough time where you can feel like you've got a reasonable test. But yeah, there's nothing specific other than go look at, like, I guess benchmark it now. If the metric is bounce rate now, look at the bounce rate over the last probably 90 days. If you're going to run it for a week, I'd probably look at the bounce rate for every week for the last 90 days. And then because like the Memorial Day bounce rate might have been different from, last week's. I don't know. And so you're going to want to be able to tell, was this a seasonal blip, this change, good or bad? Or is it because of this pop-up? There's a lot of variables, right?
Hmm. Okay. Well, would it be better then to do it for a month and look at like past Junes or
yeah.
whatever?
Yeah, the longer the period that you have, that you'll have a much better view of things. Stuff changes too quick. There's too many variables. Did you happen to, last June at this time, did you spike on MSN? Were you running a thing on social media that brought a lot of people in? Did you just not have the certain set of recipe that wasn't ranking then, but it's ranking now? There's all these different things that change. So
That makes sense.
the longer period you give yourself, the more confidence I think that you'll have at least on the bounce rate side, probably.
Okay, I'm gonna try it.
You are a crazy person, Becky, but I dig that about you,
Thanks, Matt. Have a good one.
All right, we'll see you. All right,
I
anybody
have a
else?
question.
Yes,
Yeah, I
ma'am.
have a question. Listen, I'm all new to this, and the only thing I've ever done is broadcast. So I guess all the technical part is really, it's kind of all mixed up in my head. So when you mentioned segmentation and, you want this group of people to go here, how do you even identify that?
Okay, yeah, I can see how that is totally confusing at first. Remind me, I'm sorry, Donna, you probably told me 5 times. Are you on Kit or what are you on?
Absolutely, but the whole kit thing is just in my head. It's just segmentation, automation, and all these things.
Okay.
I'd have to really sit and look at it.
Okay. What I want you to do, my advice to you, is
Mhm.
take what I've been saying and kind of bank it back here.
Okay.
And then this is going to be learning by doing. This is the crawl before you walk.
Hmm.
Set up your broadcasts in a regular, timely fashion using that calendar that we were talking about, number 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number 2, if you're creating a quick start guide, you're already experimenting with automations in Kit and you're starting to learn that.
Okay.
Number 3, if you create a forever series, you'll have a weekly automation. It's the same weekly sequence. Sorry, I used automation. Sequence. In the same way
Yeah.
that you did with a quick start guide, except you're just changing the frequency with which it is delivered.
Okay. Okay.
So what we would then think about, once you nail that general forever series,
Hmm.
you could then ask yourself down the road,
Hmm.
for those people that want to know how to use the Uni pizza oven,
Hmm.
I'm going to create a sequence that's kind of like the forever series. And how am I going to get people into it? Well, the answer to that is the same way you do it with the general stuff that you're doing right now. But learn the general stuff first, and then it'll be more clear because I know how to turn on pop-up. I know how to connect through the rules. I know how to connect the form to the sequence so that people get into the right thing. Those are the missing pieces right now for you. So
Yeah, there's a lot of missing pieces. Yeah.
just start with the quick start guide, with sending more broadcasts, and with a forever series. You
Right.
just do those 3 things. I promise you, it will all start to gel.
Okay. And the quick start guide, a lot of people are doing the pop-ups, but in my head, I have to save this recipe. It's the only thing I have right now, and I am on the list for the beta with Raptive for the print this. So, are you saying that I cannot? Because I'm thinking save this recipe. There's no way for me to connect to save this to the quick start because the save this is already, there's a whole thing that happens when they write their email. There's a pop-up already for them.
Let me show you. It's easier to show you. Okay. Here I am on Amy's site. Let's give it a quick minute. Actually, we'll give it 10 seconds. So we're going to be on this site. We're ready to dive in and get some chimichangas. Oh, sweet summer dessert. 5 days of sunny desserts. Okay. I can sign up for this thing or I can skip it.
Right.
Now I'm scrolling.
Hmm.
Oh, save this recipe.
Yeah.
It's a different experience.
Yeah.
It solves a different problem. but they
Mhm.
both exist on the post.
Right?
So in your mind, it sounded like there was a little bit of confusion about is this replace a pop-up versus, and I'm just showing you can have them both.
Yeah, I understand. I understand you can have them both, but since this is a Raptive, Save This Recipe is a Raptive feature, I don't. Is there a way for me to connect that with the guide? Is there a code, or did you understand? Like
Why do you want to connect this to the guide?
well, because they're putting in their email address. I'm figuring. Oh, you're saying like they're two different things. Okay, in that sense. Okay, I understand now. Okay.
Yeah. They're
So I
both
would
getting on the
actually
list.
need yeah, okay. But I thought like Save This Recipe, I could, somehow behind the scenes they would get the quick start guide as
You could
well.
do
But
that.
that's
Yes, you
okay.
could
Well,
do that if you'd like.
that's the part I'm like,
Okay.
well, how would I do that?
All right. So how do you have this set up in Raptive, or excuse me, in Kit right now? Is it Slickstream, I assume?
Yeah, and they set it up for me, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Slickstream's a little confusing because they've got like 4 different tags, SA dash Slickstream or whatever. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what I suggest that you do
Mm-hmm.
is you're going to go into, hang on a second. I'll just show it to you real quick.
Or could I have them say, look, I want to do this, help?
Yes, you could
Yeah.
definitely do that.
Okay.
And create your sequence for the
Yes.
you're going to have your sequence for the quick start guide, right?
Like set up in Kit and all like ready to go is what you're
And then
saying?
just say,
Okay.
I would like, when they complete the Save This Recipe, I would like them to be connected
Okay.
to be added to my sequence.
Okay.
I do want to show it to you real quick though.
I ran this through ChatGPT earlier after I did my quick start guide, and I said, "Now, how do I get this there?" And then they gave me a bunch of code, and I thought, "Oh my God,
no, that's not a good use of it. They don't know kits, and they're gonna probably making stuff up. I'm going to stop recording now simply because I'm
Yeah.
going to show stuff on the screen that might be somebody's email address, and I don't want that to
Okay.
be